Ancient wisdom flowing through these modern veins. Dragon mother rising, feeling your heartbeat. Under concrete jungles where the wild things meet. Your children hear you calling through the urban haze. Time to wake the titans for these latter days. All various named inferno, point force. They paved paradise but can't stop nature's course. Your room still bearing fruit beneath the steel and stone. Every scene a rebel, every tree a throne. Deep in your cave, the old gods still hold court. While prophets preach their false report, but we remember how you armed the Titan's hand when heaven's blood watered your sacred land. Or where it say the stars still dance the ancient ways, despite their towers reaching through the haze. Sweet to the smell with your prolific rays, washing clean their empires, breaking their chains. You gave us herbs and crystals, taught us how to heal. Show the sacred circle, time cannot steal. Now as the world grows, we embrace your might. Dragon mother's children gathering in the night. They thought they could contain you in their books of law, but your power's rising raw and without flaw. Every seed a revolution, every spring a call. Dragon mother rising, watch their kingdoms fall. Hi everyone, hi. I had such a busy day today, working and doing everything, but I'm still here. We're gonna do another video and let me finish my fumo and then we're going to start. And we're gonna just a moment. Some of you smoke, don't you? Don't worry about smoking. If you believe in me, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be okay. Don't worry. Smoke if you want. Who cares? Some people are afraid of death. Some people. Just give me a moment. We're gonna start. Can everybody feel the energy of Wednesday? Today is Wednesday, isn't it? So the energy is quite heavy. People are tired. People are like, just going through the emotions. And they're just trying to get the week over so they can rest a little bit on a Sunday. Well, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, whatever it is. And then they can, relax, have a drink, and do whatever they do, and just have a little bit fun to start the whole week again. Don't we? We get Wednesday, the energy is quite contained. Yeah. Thank you for waiting. Let's go to have a seat. Let's go to now to bring the spirit truth into my vessel so we can be the truth, the light, and the life. Breathing.
Thank you for waiting. So, another story, another true fact, another true story. Um, I told you a story about I had a so-called abortion. I didn't just had one abortion. I had two. Yes, I'm guilty of, in the past, murdering as well. Yeah, I think some of we girls had something to do with that, you know, killing our own children, because we felt we had to. So here they go. Here comes. Just a moment. So here comes the story of the second abortion I had. I was still a teenager, by the way. After my first abortion, I became very aware that I could get pregnant, because according to some gossip, to some things that was told to me, I wouldn't be able to get pregnant. But that was a lie, because I got pregnant and I had my first abortion. So after the first abortion, I thought, that's a lie. I can't get pregnant. So I couldn't, wasn't advised for me to take the anti-conceptional pill. So, and I was, aware of that. So I couldn't take anti-conceptional pill like any other girls could, because of hormones and things like that and this and that. I'm going to tell you about that in the other video. We're going to address the second abortion. So I thought, oh, that was a lie. I can't get pregnant. What can I do if I get involved with boys again to prevent a other pregnancy? The condoms, obviously, and that's what I did, you know. Time passed, and I start going out, enjoy myself after the second abortion, enjoy myself and this and that, interacting with boys, this and that, and this. And then once upon a time, I started going out to this particular place back where I grew up in Brazil. There was this particular place I used to go to with my friends. I made friends. I moved to a new place, working. I wasn't studying at that time. I was just working. And, on the weekends, I used to go out dancing. I loved dancing, honestly. I loved dancing a lot. I wasn't really particular in attracting the opposite sex, but I attract anyway, we do. And I used to go out to this particular pagode and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then I met this guy, you know. I knew this guy from the bakery when I used to work in a bakery. You know, I met this guy, this particular guy, but he was a client, a customer in the bakery. He used to go there, buy bread and this and that, you know, and was just a client really from the bakery. I served him a few times. He was a Hansel guy, you know, he was in the army, and he was a sergeant, and you know, our interaction was very professional. You know, I sold the bread or whatever he bought and this and that, and we talked a few times. He was engaged, you know, to be married and this and that, blah blah blah. Down, it's okay. So I moved to a new location, and then once upon a time when I was there in the pagode dancing and enjoying myself with my friends and this and that, this guy was there. And we got to talk. Hi, how are you? You know, how as you do. You know, how are you? Oh yes, I'm good. Oh, it's so very nice to see you in here. Oh yes, it's nice to see you too. You know, and conversation goes, conversation, you know, blah 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 blah. And then he said, I don't know if it's true or false, because I don't believe anybody nowadays. But at that time, he said that he had broke up the engagement. You know, he wasn't anymore engaged. Might be a lie. You never know. You know, people lie all the time. So I was like, oh, you know, why? No, she wasn't good for me, you know. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, terrible, no? Wow, you were very serious about getting married. Oh, yes, but, you know, she. I was like, okay. So we start kind of dating, you know, dating. We start kind of dating. You know, I thought, oh, well, he's not engaged anymore. He seems to be single. And I was single, you know, so we start dating. And I told him, you know, I live with my sister now in this place now. And I got another job and this and that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And so we start dating. And we start getting intimate with each other. And but I was always aware, you know, I was always aware. And but you know, as the relationship developed, you know, once we were in the pagode together, and we had a fantastic time, really amazing time, and I drank too much. Pay attention, girls. Drinking too much. Honestly. That's why we're making this video in here. Pay attention. So, you know, we were there, and then we went like, oh, let's go to a motel. I was like, yeah, let's go, you know. And we go to the motel, you know, ordered more drinks and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And like I mentioned to you, I wore, no me, no, but I explicitly asked the person, you know, to wear condoms. You know, I was like, oh, let's go and order some condoms. Oh, yes. You know, we ordered some condoms and this and that. You know, of course, you know, he was like, you know, condoms. I was like, no, condoms, you know. And It's a little bit vulgar, this story, because it's a little bit explicit, but bear with me. There is a point. So I was like, no, I'm sorry, but has to be condoms, plus I don't know you that well. You don't know me that well. So, apart from apart from make sure we don't pass any disease to each other, I also prevent a pregnancy, condoms and this, and I was like, no. But this particular night, like I mentioned, I drank a little bit too much. Yes, I did. Big mistake. Really big mistake. So that was me a little bit too drunk, and we in this and that, and blah, 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 in this and that. And, blah, this and blah, 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 blah. Went to sleep. Next morning, I woke up. I used to wake up before usually him. And I used to go around the bedroom and get things like, whatever was. I didn't like to leave the place untidied. So as I went to clean the floor, maybe we dropped something and things like that, whatever. I went to get the condom, the used condom, which I thought was used, and I noticed that the particular condom, which we used just once because I was too drunk, and this and that, but yes. Anyways, I noticed that the condom was empty. You know what I mean? Empty, So I was like, wow. Oh, I was like, because we were in the putaria, basically, the malandragem, I didn't notice, that he had removed the condom. So when I picked up the condom, this is a true story though, I don't have a need to lie. So when I picked up the condom and I look, yeah, it was used, but empty, no sperm. Sorry for being vulgar. I was like, should have some sperm in here, Don't be vulgar in here, but you know what I mean. I was like, and then came to me, when we were like this and that, he removed it. I was like, fuck, what a bastard. But because I was too drunk, I didn't notice, you know what I mean? So I was like, what the fuck? So I woke up him, I was like, hey, wake up. And he was like, what? I was like, hey, what's happened to the condom? What is it? What is it in here? Oh, come on. I was like, no, come on what? What do you mean, come on? Oh, I removed last night, while we were. I was like, why? Why would you remove the condom without telling me? Oh, come on. I was like, no, I am clean, I am in the army. I was like, I don't give a fuck if you are in the army or the top government office or you're the president. Why did you remove the condom? I am clean, I was like, yeah, but I can't, apart from not getting disease, I don't want to get pregnant. Oh, don't be silly, you're not going to get pregnant. I said, how do you know? Oh, come on, you won't. However, for some reason, I knew I was going to get pregnant. I don't know if it was my subconscious mind, already materializing it in my body, nah, because of fear, nah, oh, whatever. And but I had a feeling I would get pregnant. I did. I left the motel. I left the motel, to go into work and no, actually to go back home, thinking, what a fucking asshole. Okay, pregnancy, yes, but also a disease as well. Could be anything. And the plus, I thought, what the fucking asshole. He could have at least tell me that, look, I'm going to remove the condom. But he did quietly. I didn't notice because I was a little bit drunk. I'm not going to lie to you. Too much out. So I was like, that's not very nice. And I thought, that's it, you are going to get pregnant. And, because I believe my period was going to be due in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks was supposed to be my period. Yeah, something like that. And I thought, that's it, I'm going to get pregnant. No, I'm going to get pregnant. I just knew what you people call intuition. I just have a feeling that I was going to get pregnant because of the, slit. And I thought, that's it. I'm going to wait to see if my period comes. If it doesn't come, I am pregnant. Fun enough, the period never came. And I... So I told the girl I used to work for, the lady, the woman I used to work for, everything, because we used to discuss things. I told her, and I told my sister, and they said, what are you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna have another termination. Oh no, but you don't want to tell this guy? I was like, no, I'm not gonna tell him anything. He betrayed my trust. That particular night, I drank a little bit too much because I felt like, okay, I can trust him. I can trust him. I can lose it up a little bit more. You know what I mean? And he broke that trust. Therefore, he doesn't deserve any respect from me. No, I'm not going to tell him. So, I don't know how he got to know my sister, but I wait for my period didn't come, and then my sister, I used to live with my sister, my so-called sister, when I used to go home on the weekends after work, because I work in the job during the week and I go home on the weekends, my sister used to mention to me, oh, so came to me. He really is asking after you. What did you say? I used to tell my sister, what did you say? No, I just told him you were working. I was like, good. I said, don't tell him anything, please. I told her, don't ever tell him anything. No, I didn't. She said she didn't. So I believed her. So that's it. I decided to have a termination. You know what I mean? Abortion. I did. But to go through this process of abortion, I would have to wait 8 weeks, to do this termination, to get this medication and, to go through. Would have to be 2 months. So, you know, and while I kept waiting for the 2 months to come through, one weekend I went back home. I believe was the weekend before my abortion. Yes. Anyways, it's a funny story though. Sad fun as well. Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson just came out of of prison, and he's gonna have the biggest fight, of his life with what's his name, Anubis? Evander Holyfield, Evander Holyfield, something like that. I don't know how to spell his name properly, but it was the fight that Mike Tyson beat the guy's ears. The guy's ear. Can you remember the fight? Anyways, the weekend after, I was gonna have my so-called abortion. Anyways, when I came home of that weekend, and my sister said, "Oh, are you gonna do anything tonight?" I was like, "No, I'm not gonna do anything tonight." And then she said, "Can you watch the boys for me?" She had two beautiful baby boys. "Can you watch the boys for me? For me to go out?" I was like, "Of course." I don't want to go. I didn't want to go out. I lost kind of excitement to go out. Girls, how you do when you are waiting for your period and then you found out you are pregnant, and then you think, "I'm gonna have an abortion." You know how you feel. Now, some girls, I know you related to what I'm saying. It's kind of, the plus, the betrayed of him, was too much. So I said, "Yeah, I'll watch the boys for you. Don't worry. Just go and enjoy yourself. Go and have fun." And she said, "Okay, all right, we are going out this time and this and that." I was like, "No worries. Go and have fun." So she left my beautiful two nephews, babies, still babies. Not when I say babies, not babies. One was a toddler, the other, both was toddlers. Yeah, toddlers, but babies. I was like, "Yeah, go." And then I thought, "Oh, by the way, I can watch the fight. Mike Tyson is gonna fight tonight." So, and my sister my so-called sister just bought a beautiful, massive telly. I thought, great, that is me, waiting, to enjoy a nice boxing fight, And she went, got ready, blah, 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 and her husband, and went, and I stay with my nephews. We play, and then the fight was going to be midnight. I'm sure the fight was going to be midnight, wasn't it? Midnight, I think. Going to check, but I think the fight was going to start midnight. Yes. Brazilian time, though, in those days, I'm sure it was midnight, the fight. I might be wrong. You never know. It was a long time ago. But there was me waiting, and the babies, I tied the babies up. We made a bed in the living room, like camping in the living room. And by the time, the fight was kind of, preparing, there was the news, "Oh, Mike Tyson now is doing this, Evander Holyfield is doing that, blah, 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 blah." And my baby's nephew was like, all sleepy, was so cute though. So there was me by myself, with my babies sleeping around me. And I was like, something, to distract myself from the torment I was going through. Because let's face, having abortion is no easy. No easy whatsoever. So, and then, nearly the time of the fight, and knock on the door. A knock on the door. I was like, can't be my sister. She said she was going to come late. So can't be her. Who is that? So I opened the door, Remember, those days, there was no mobile phone. Well, there was, but not for the common people. So I opened the door. And then when I opened the door, was a friend of mine, a colleague of mine I used to go out with to this pagode, And she was like, hi. I was like, hi. And then she was like, pardon me, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to watch the fight. Mike Tyson is going to fight Evander Holyfield. And this, yeah, but you haven't been you have been avoiding me for so long, I was like, I know, yeah, I'm being busy. I didn't tell anybody about the baby and therefore the abortion. I don't know if my sister said, probably. My sister had a big mouth, this so-called sister of mine. But I was like, I know. She said, you don't know who is there waiting for you. I was like, who? So-and-so. I was like, what? Yes, he's there right now in front of your house waiting to talk to you. I was like, no, I don't want to talk to him. Oh, come on. I was like, no, go tell him to turn away and to walk away. I don't want to talk to him. And plus, I'm not going to leave my nephews alone here. Just go. Oh, please. He's really desperate to talk to you. I was like, no, I'm not going to talk to him. Plus, my fight is just going to start and I can't be bothered. I'm not going to lose my fight, I have been waiting all night for this fight in here. And she was like, oh, I even remember. It makes me laugh because some women are so silly, honestly. She was like, oh, but he paid for the taxi, to come all the way here just to see you. My goodness, he paid for the taxi. I look at her, I said, I don't give a fuck if he had to rent a fucking limousine to come to see me. I don't give a fuck if he had to rent a fucking helicopter to see me. Tell him now to get out in front of my house and go back to the shithole where he's come from. And otherwise, I'm going to call the police on him. Remember, in those days, when you were in the army, they didn't want to get involved with the police. If a woman in Brazil would go to the police and say that they would be harassing by somebody in the army, would be shit for them. You know what I mean? They would get fucked up. So I said, tell him to go now, and otherwise I'm going to call the police on him. Okay? Just tell him. Okay? Just go. And she was like, all right, okay. I said, go. And by the way, you are waking up my babies in here. Just go, And she went. She went. She went. I was like, some women are very cheap, because of a taxi, because he paid for the taxi to come to see me like it's some fucking white horse. So I closed the door, locked the door, and I went back to the fight. And the fight just started, and then Mike Tyson decided to bite Evander Holyfield's ear. The fight didn't last few seconds was a really lousy fight. And I, that been waiting for so long for this fight, was really lousy, because for some reason Mike Tyson just went and beat his ears, and it was a mess. So I thought, and then there was the news man, oh no, Mike Tyson just beat his ear, and Evander Holyfield was like, ah. So in the end, I watched all the news, all the commotion, and then I went to sleep. And then that was it, And then the following weekend, I believe it was the following weekend, I had the so-called abortion. Didn't go as quite as I planned, because I ended up in a hospital, sick, because there was leftover of fetches, leftover babies in my womb. So I had to have a drainage, a cleansing. It was horrible. I nearly died. It was really bad. The whole situation, But thank you, Jesus. I got okay. I got sorted. And I never saw this guy again. Never saw him again. I don't know what's happened to him. I don't care. I really don't care. Wow, it's a sad story, Zelda. Goddess Zelda da Conceição. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad because I could have given him a chance now, or I could, but in those days, I'm still but I have always been radical in my decisions. If someone, crossed me once, I wouldn't give them another chance, So this guy crossed a line, and for me, he didn't deserve any explanation, any chance whatsoever, So I have got no regrets. I have got no regrets over this abortion whatsoever, because I did what was right. I got the condoms, he put the condoms on, I saw it, blah, 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 and the drinking, and the this and that, and this, And why I'm saying the story, Zelda, Goddess Zelda da Conceição, why I say the story? Look, some men, don't really give a fuck about women, okay? He didn't think about me properly, because he could have passed this is STD to me. He could have, and also, he did have made me pregnant. He didn't take consideration my feelings, what I was going through, what would happen to me if I got pregnant. I didn't have a house. I was living in somebody's house. My schooling, yes, hadn't been finished yet. This guy didn't take any consideration about me. That sometimes what's happened to some people. People that don't think about you properly. People that don't think about your feelings, don't take consideration about your emotions, about your safety. They don't deserve another chance. They don't, really. Not whatsoever. I know the Bible says, forgive, now. But someone betrayed you in that measure of extent, it means that they only thought about their own pleasure, their own self. Is that correct? You know what I mean? What would be the most correct manner for him to conduct himself? Hey, hey, hey. Yes, yes. I'm having so much fun here. Do you think I could remove the condoms? You know, I don't know. Better not. Well, maybe you can remove the condom, but trying to jump off, jump off. You know what I mean? You know, jump off. Because although you a guy, in the army, a sergeant, I know you might be clean, but I don't want a baby yet, you know. But this guy didn't think twice about me. He didn't take in consideration anything about me. He just thought about his own physical pleasure. He didn't consult me. So people like that, you have to cut really from the root. The root. Okay? You don't give people like that a second chance. Okay? Don't even think about don't even think about giving people like that a second chance in your lives, whether it's a male or female. They betrayed your trust, put your health into jeopardize, betrayed your trust, and put yourself in a very complicated situation. They didn't take consideration about anything about you. They just thought about their own selves, selfishness, their own pleasure. So don't think twice about, cutting people like that off of your lives. I didn't. I never saw this guy again. Never. Honestly, never. And I never gave him another chance even to see me. The day he saw me in the morning, waking him up, was the last time he saw me. You know what I mean? Because you see, people always go on. Hold on, people. My beautiful legs. People always going on. Because women likes to trap men with a pregnancy. Men as well likes to trap women, making women pregnant. Not just women likes to trap men with babies. Men as well. And they know that. They do. It's the same. It's the same. Some women, yes, traps men with babies. And so men as well. Yes, they do. And they know that. They just want you to have the seed. And then as soon as you have the seed, they don't care about you. They go out to impregnate other women. So it's wrong to think that it's just women that likes to get pregnant and hold men. No, men as well like to do that. I know what I'm saying. We know here. Not just women. It's both. All right. So I would just this video is a very quick one. We just like to say that because there is this conception out there that's going around because women likes to trap men with babies. So men, have you realized some women are going to relate it to what we are saying now? Have we realized going out with a guy? We're going out, everything's good, everything is nice, and then suddenly you get pregnant, As soon as you get pregnant, it's like some guys lose interest. Do you think it's just coincidence? No. Now he has got his so-called seed in your biological universal portal. He doesn't care about you anymore. So he goes out to spread another seed in another territory. So it takes two to tango. It's not just women that does this type of thing. Men as well. Men as well. And they're even worse. Because we are left behind, carrying, a baby for 9 months, give or take 9 months, 10 months, with no, sometimes really, partner support, nobody, supporting us, and the cafajeste is there with another woman most of the time. I know. You know what I mean? So it's not just women, men as well. Men as well likes to do that. Likes to trap women with babies. They do. I know. You know what I mean? So be aware of that. My beautiful women, my beautiful girls, my beautiful baby girls, make sure that when you decided to have a baby, it's because you want it. You are ready for the baby. You are craving to have a baby, not because your partner or your boyfriend or your fiancé or your husband wants one. It's because you want one, not because he says so. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to be 90% responsible for that seed. Oh yes, because he will be too busy, already chasing other bloody asses. We know you, man. Oh yes, we do. Okay? So if you were in a relationship, and you discuss about starting a family, make sure, my beautiful women, make sure, my baby girls, you are 100% sure that you want to start a family. Okay? Make sure. Because men will use any excuse to escape, the responsibility, the changes that is going with you when you are pregnant. They know that. They know exactly what they are doing. Okay? So make sure you are 100% sure you want a baby. Make sure you know you want a baby. Don't let anybody persuade you. Because it's your responsibility most of the time. Because you're the one who's going to stick with the baby, watching the baby, taking care of the baby, look after the baby. All right? All right. We love you so much. Stay well. Right? And we are not here against men or against women. We are teaching lessons that we learn ourselves. Okay? So make sure, you think, yeah, I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to have your baby. Yes, I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it? Are you really sure? Yes, I'm sure. So make sure you are both agreeing in one single outcome. Make sure that he's sincere, and he knows what he wants. Because some men are very confused. Honestly, they are like little boys, in a playground. Silly. So make sure you both know what you really, really want. And for most of my beautiful girls out there, make sure you are 100% sure about it. Okay? Don't let anybody persuade you. Go think, analyze. Do I have the instruction, emotional, physical, psychological, financial, spiritual, to have a baby now? Because have a baby now, because most of the things change during, the pregnancy time. You change, everything change. So be 100% sure.